Hello microfiends. Today I'll be showing you how to do a wet mount. So first you will need your water samples. Here we have a hay infusion and a dirty water sample. These you will be either making or collecting yourselves, and just make sure that they are as dirty as you can get them. And if whenever you are actually sampling them, make sure you shake them so that you are getting all of the good stuff. Now here we have for example, gloves off to the side. However, for this, since it's all environmental samples and there is nothing hazardous that we are doing, those are not necessary. Here, now we have some glass slides, which we will be using for our samples. So just go ahead and grab one if I'm able to get one. There we go. So just make sure you grab one glass slide for your sample. And you will be needing some transfer pipettes. It is always good practice to open the transfer pipettes from the bulb. That way you are not touching whatever you're actually going to be sampling. Now here today I will be sampling the dirty water sample. Ours is from our local lake, Lake Alice. However, like I said, we always encourage you to go out and find as many areas to sample as you can find, and go ahead and just see what is out there. There is an entire invisible world around us that not many are able to appreciate. So we are the lucky few that get the chance to. So go ahead, and if it starts settling, just make sure you grab from the bottom. And let's see, you don't need all that much. It is a common mistake to just completely flood your slide. Still be able to see good stuff, but it might get a little messy otherwise. Here to the side, I have a plastic cup. What this will be for is just acting as our waste container, especially since we are dealing with glass slides. We want something that is hard to be able to dispose of everything. Now, since like I mentioned earlier, these are just environmental samples, we don't have to worry about anything being like biohazardous, but like I said, it's always good practice to have when dealing, especially with sharps such as glass. Now here we have some of our cover slips. You will just be grabbing one of these. It is often common to accidentally grab more than one, so just make sure you're grabbing one and try and put it down at a 45-degree angle to minimize air bubbles. Now we'll bring in our microscope here and make sure you always start at the lowest magnification. Here it's with the 4x objective, and while we do have our handy little metal clamps to the side, since this is a water sample and most of our little friends that we'll be looking at will be moving very fast. If we have it stationary, we won't be able to really appreciate the sample that we have. So I like to place it like this. That way I'm able to easily move it around and see what is there to see. So now I can go ahead and take a look at what we have. Since our sample is a lake sample, a lot of it will be plant material, but I can already start to see some little guys moving around. Now from this low of a magnification, sometimes it's hard to identify. So I can now go ahead, maybe switch it to the 10x, maybe make sure that the contrast is good. So you can go ahead and switch around. Just play around with the microscope, see what's best for you and how you can best look at your samples. Make sure it's in focus with the knobs, the focusing knobs on the side, and eventually make your way down to the 40x magnification. This personally is my favorite since you really get to appreciate what you're looking at. Now, I think I might have touched on this earlier. Oftentimes it's very easy to get frustrated since it might not be as easy as the prepared slides, since they tend to be stained and you're not really looking at things that are moving around. However, the more you use the microscope, the more samples you take a look at, the easier it'll get. So that's why we always encourage look at as many samples as you can, as big of a variety as you can. And if you find something particularly cool, what you can also go ahead and do is take pictures or videos of it using your own phone. So just take a look at your phone's lenses. Make sure you center them to the eyepiece. And looking through your phone's camera, you'll be able to see what you're taking a picture of. Sometimes if you bring your phone slightly back so it's not exactly touching the lens is when you'll get the best pictures or videos. If your camera has multiple lenses, usually you can go to certain apps such as Snapchat and use their camera feature, and that will make it a little easier to do so. But that is how we did our wet mount. Like I said, the same process could be used with a hay infusion or any other dirty water sample you come across.